Ondo and Kahamara. Trust me, the program will return your airways by this time next week. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, and it's a beautiful Sunday evening. My name is Dozie Onoha, and I have with me Peter Anosike. But before I introduce Peter Anosike to the mic, I also want to remind you that what we do in the program is to bring you a summary of the major events that took center stage within the week. That is from Monday until yesterday being Saturday. So we have major issues that trended, and we want to bring you a summary of it. The stories we are going to come up with, Mr. Anosike will be here to give a detailed analysis of the program, and trust me, it's going to be worth your time. Mr. Peter Anosike, good evening to you.
Good evening.
How is your Sunday going?
Well, it's been a rainy day, a very, very rainy day.
Yeah, it's been a rainy day. It's a beautiful day, actually. The rain is good. I also want to remind you, listeners, that this program is streaming live on YouTube. All you need to do is just type www.youtube.com/VOP903FM, or you go to your YouTube app and type in Voice of the People, and of course, you will get us live there. And you do well to drop your comments there. You subscribe to our channel, and of course you like our shows, and of course you can also follow us on all our social media handles at VOP903FM. Now we are going to I'm going to give all the stories and give you a brief rundown of the stories we have before our analyst, which is Peter Anosike, will begin to do justice to each and every one of them. The first story we have here says concerns as Naira emerges worst performing African currency in 3 months. Despite tough reforms taken by the Nigerian government to fix its financial situation, Naira has emerged as the worst performing African currency in 3 months, and is even missing in the list of the top 10 foreign currencies in the market. This is coming after a global currency ranking report titled Highest and Strongest Currencies in Africa by Classify.com revealed that Africa's exclusion from the global currencies is a no-brainer, given that it is home to the world's 10 most underdeveloped and developing countries. Nevertheless, several legal tenders on the continent commanded respect in the foreign currency market. Now we have another story here that says Tinubu's spokesman warns ministers. President Bola Tinubu spent the months since his victory at the February 25th election setting clear goals for each sector in the country, and will not tolerate failure from either of his recently inaugurated ministers, presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale said on Monday. And I quote, he said, "The president has set the benchmarks," the senior advisor to the president on media and publicity noted on Channels Television. Now, the question, according to him, he said, the question now is about enforcement, and the president has shown, as he did during his time in Lagos State as governor, that he is not someone that is afraid to fire anybody. He is not somebody that is afraid to levy quick sanctions to ensure that they get the result that he wants, because ultimately, if this administration fails, they will not say a minister failed or a set of ministers failed. Rather, they will say President Bola Tinubu failed, and he will not accept failure, the special advisor said. Now, let's move to the next story we have that says Rwanda retires 12 generals, Cameroon reshuffles defense ministry after coup in Gabon. The Rwandan Defense Force, RDF, has retired 12 generals and others in a move to reshuffle the military, with while Cameroon's president Paul Biya has made changes to the Central African country's Ministry of Defense. Both moves are coming in the wake of the Gabon coup, the latest in a series of military takeovers in Africa. A Wednesday statement by the RDF said President Paul Kagame has retired 83 military personnel, including 12 army generals. Now we have another story here that says Mieti Allah unveils security outfit, kicks against anti-grazing laws by governors. Mieti Allah Kota Ho Fulani Socio-Cultural Association has announced the introduction of a security outfit to assist security agencies in curbing crime, including cattle rustling, kidnapping, and rural banditry. The Pan-Fulani group disclosed this in a communique issued at the end of its yearly general meeting and delegates conference in Nasarawa State. Miyetti Allah also appealed to the Inspector General of Police (IGP) to take proactive measures to protect Fulani pastoralists across the country from tribal hordes, ethnic militias, and of course state-sponsored vigilantes. The story unfolds. Now, we also have one of the stories here that says 2023 Kogi Guba election results will be transmitted from polling units, says INEC. Of course, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said that the Kogi State November 11 governorship results will be transmitted electronically directly from polling units to each server. The resident electoral commissioner in Kogi State, Professor Gabriel Longpet, disclosed this at a 2-day media roundtable engagement on the Kogi electoral election organized by the Independent Press Center (IPC) in Abuja. Professor Longset said the electronic transmission of the results will help to eliminate rigging, electoral fraud, and other irregularities, and to ensure the enthronement of credibility and transparency in the electoral process. Now, another story here says our city boy has brought extreme hardship. Bishop Adeoye knocks President Tinubu. Now, just 3 months in office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has brought extreme suffering to Nigerians and almost taken the country to war against the Republic of Niger, says an Oshu-based cleric, Bishop Shehu Adeoye. Recall that Tinubu was sworn in as Nigeria's president on May 29, 2023, making it extremely 3 months today that he succeeded former President Muhammadu Buhari. Reacting, however, to the current state of the nation in a statement on Tuesday, that was when the statement was actually made, Bishop Adeoye said Tinubu's 3 months on the seat of power has only brought untold hardship and suffering for the majority of Nigerians. The story actually continues, but I'm just going to take it from there. Now we have the final story for tonight that says the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has, according to a methodology coming out from them, they put Nigeria's unemployment rate at 4.1% in the first quarter of 2023. Okay, the National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's unemployment rate was 4.1% in the first quarter of 2023 and 5.3% in the previous quarter. Now, in the fourth quarter of 2020, the Bureau had pegged the country's unemployment rate at 33.3%. Now, this whole stories we have, Mr. Nosike is actually going to do justice to them. But I also want to remind you that by the time the analysis, we are done analyzing this tonight, you are going to open up the phone lines so that you can, call in and make your contributions on 0700 903 903 903. And of course, you can also send your messages on WhatsApp, or you can call via WhatsApp, depending on where you're reaching us from, on 0700 903 903 9. Now, Peter Anosike, Naira, emerges worst performing currency in Africa in 3 months. What do you have to say about this?
I'm not surprised about it. You cannot build something on nothing. There's nothing supporting the Naira, so it will always be on free fall. Naira will always be on free fall because nothing is supporting it. We are not a producing country. What strengthens the currency of a country is production and exportation. We are not producing, we are not exporting. All we are doing is borrowing. No country can survive by borrowing. No country has survived by borrowing, and Nigeria will never be an exception. And since 2015, What we have been doing is borrowing. That's why one of the presidential candidates talk of moving Nigeria from consumption to production. That is the only thing that can strengthen our economy. Producing and exporting. But as long as we continue this our borrowing, Nigeria will always be on a free fall. So I'm not surprised that in 3 months that Naira has emerged as the worst performing currency in the Horn of Africa, and they are calling us the giant of Africa. Understand? And the truth is that since Tinubu came to office, he hasn't done anything at all to strengthen the Naira. He hasn't done anything at all. That unification is scam. It's pure scam. Unification doesn't strengthen any economy. It is production that strengthens economy. It is production that can strengthen Nigeria's economy. When we begin to produce and export, then our Naira will become strong. When we become a producing country, our Naira will become strong. But when we continue to borrow, when we continue to be a dependent, begin to run that's a dependent economy, our Naira will continue to fall on a daily basis. And if they continue this way, Naira will exchange for 1,000 Naira per dollar very soon, because there's nothing substantial that has been done in the last 3 months that will make our currency strong. Nothing at all. All he has been doing is superficial. Until we become a producing country, until we become a producing country, our Naira will always be on a free fall. The rate of inflation will continue to go high and high.
But do you think it's not too early to expect something different? He's barely 3 months in office, so don't you see it coming? Because even the previous administration, the Naira was still on the high before he came into office. So don't you think he still needs some time to adjust and get to
adjust what? Foundation is very, very important in anything. Once the foundation is faulty, nothing good can stand on it. Once the foundation is faulty, nothing good will stand on it. That's what is happening. One, every action has reaction. Understand me? Every action has its consequences. Every action has consequences. And for you to know who a leader is, a leader thinks more of consequences more than the action. A leader thinks more of consequences than the action. On the day of his inauguration, he removed subsidy without thinking of the consequences. That is not leadership.
But all the almost all the presidential candidates, they actually promised that they're going to take away subsidy. And he did so, as he promised.
On the first day, without putting things on this thing. That's not leadership. You must think of the consequences of your action before taking that action. You must always think of the consequences of your action before you take that action. Okay, when he removed that subsidy, he put Nigerians in a mess. What mess? He said that it's going to bring, is it 8,000 Naira palliative? Why? Because he didn't think of the consequences of his action. Then the 8,000 Naira couldn't stand. He changed it again. Now it is now governors that he is giving pocket money and saying that it is palliative. So this is happens when somebody don't think through his actions. This only happens when somebody don't think through his actions. Look, they say he is an economics so and so. What you know is not important. What is important is what you do with what you know. I want to make a repeat of this. What we know is not important. What's important is what we do with what we know. So being an economist and you cannot run an economy does not make sense. So every leader must think of the consequences of his action before taking that action. And he had not been doing it. That's why he had been jumping from pillar that to post. Remove subsidy, put 8,000 naira, it didn't work. Secretly, they put back the subsidy. Secretly, they have put back that subsidy. That's why he said some time ago that there will no more be an increase in the price of petrol.
But if actually they increase subsidy, they should have. Why is it that fuel still sells at 670 naira
because
and above?
They imported at a high cost.
So what you are saying is that there is likelihood that the price will definitely come down in no sooner time. Maybe when they are done selling off the ones they bought at higher cost, subsequently they are going to buy at lower cost. Is that what it means?
It depends on the exchange rate because we are an import-dependent country. Understand? When he said that there will be no more increase in the price of petrol, which means there's still regulation going on because if you remove subsidy, you don't have any business with the price. It has gone out of your hand. Do you understand that?
I'm with you. Yeah.
Then once the price is even determined by the forces of demand and supply, the government has no hand there. Kerosene has been fully deregulated. That's why no government is making any comment on the price of kerosene. But for him to say that there will be no more increase in the price of petrol means that they have started regulating it, which is subsidy. So I'm not surprised that that our naira is the worst performing in the last 3 months, simply because nothing substantial has been done in the last 3 months.
Okay, I think that will be. Now let's talk about this. This is coming from the presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngalela. Abi Ngalele, I think that's his name now.
Yeah.
He said he's actually, will I say, he's warning the ministers, according to what they wrote. He says he's warning the ministers. He's telling them that the president is actually he doesn't tolerate failures and all that. So what's your take on this particular thing coming from the presidential spokesperson to the ministers of the Federal Republic?
So which means Ajuri Ngalele knows the president more than those ministers.
He's a spokesman, so I believe for him to appoint him as his spokesman, he's very, very close to him.
And Ngalele is only 38 years.
He's still close to him.
He was born in America, schooled in America. Okay. What brought him to Nigeria is his NYSC. Do you understand that? He's only 38 and he is warning ministers comprised of former governors, former senators, and even serving senators. That's why I say that we are in an era of impunity. We are in an era of impunity. The Bible says, when what was not happening before begin to happen, know that the time that the end is near. That's what the Bible said. When what was not happening before begin to happen, know that we are nearing the end of time. And in this administration, what was not happening before is now happening. Let me start with him. We had the democracy in 1999. Okay, let me start with Alhaji Musa Yar'Adua. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, when he became president, he picked Shehu Adeniyi as his own spokesperson. Before he picked Shehu Adeniyi, Adeniyi was the chairman editorial board of these day newspapers. Chairman editorial board of these day newspapers. From Yar'Adua to Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan picked Reuben Abati as his own spokesperson. Before Jonathan picked Reuben Abati, Abati was the chairman editorial board of Guardian newspapers. Chairman editorial board of Guardian newspapers. From Jonathan to Buhari, Buhari picked Femi Adesina as his spokesperson. Before Adesina was picked, Adesina was the managing director Sun newspapers. Femi Adesina was the MD of Sun newspapers. Then who is Ajuri Nganende? Nganende, after finishing his studies in America, came down to Nigeria to do his NYSC just few years ago and was posted to AIT. He was in AIT for 3 years. They removed him. He now become Channel's news senior correspondent. Nganende becomes Channel's senior correspondent. In the media, those who know how things are ranked in the media, we have correspondent, senior correspondent, then chief correspondent, before you now get to assistant editor, deputy editor, and then editor. Now, can you see where Nganende is at the beginning of media? Understand me? Shegun Adeniyi, who was chairman editorial board of This Day, never won any minister. He didn't want the ministers. Reuben Abati, who was chairman editorial board, Guardian newspapers, did not won any minister. Femi Adesina, who was the MD of Sun newspaper, did not won any minister. Now it is now somebody who is far junior to them in the profession that is now warning ministers that they should be careful, they should be up and doing. Can you imagine that? It's an act of impunity. But the truth is that the ministers never reacted. None of them has said that. None of them, they just pretended as if they did not see it or they did not hear it. And this also borders on the manner they were appointed. When you beg for something, you must be ready to receive anything. It borders about on their competence, their integrity, and the manner at which they get those positions. I'm sure if Okonjo Iweala was among those ministers and Ajuri made a statement, she would have cautioned him, hold their thought, because she knew that she had other better alternatives. But when you assemble a bunch of professional politicians, those whose only enterprise is politics, the billionaires without enterprise, they are billionaires but they don't have a factory anywhere. They can easily be EFCC, ICPC can easily go after them. So whatever you are told, even if a 6-year-old boy abuses you, you keep quiet because you don't want to expose yourself. So I feel that is why none of the ministers cautioned him, because politics is their profession. They have no other alternatives. Politics is their profession. They don't have any other alternatives. Then, to continue with the era of impunity, the Minister of Culture, Hanatu, that is a serving corps member, and appointed a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People have been saying a lot of stupid things that there's nothing disqualify her from holding these two positions. But if you read Supreme Court judgment on Madibo versus Osman 2019, Supreme Court judgment, Madibo versus Osman 2019. It was the case of somebody who is serving and went and contested for election and won. His opponent went to court. And the court decided that you cannot be a core member and hold a public appointment at the same time. That's what Nigeria Supreme Court give as a judgment. Supreme Court, not a High Court or Court of Appeal. I'm saying Supreme Court. Let those who are listening to me or those who say that nothing disqualifies her go and read that judgment. Madibo versus Osman 2019 Supreme Court decision. Then NYSC Act also forbid an individual from serving and holding appointment at the same time. NYSC Act forbids it. It's prohibited. So there's no reason at all, because this particular woman was appointed a PENCOM member in 2020 to represent Northwest as a commissioner. That was in the 9th Assembly. When she came to the Senate, they rejected her because she couldn't present NYSC certificate. Because for you to, as a graduate of Nigeria, a Nigerian, as a graduate, you must either present your NYSC discharge certificate or your exemption letter. You must present your NYSC discharge certificate or your exemption letter. But she was unable to do any of this. So 9th Senate refused to confirm her. But in this 10th Senate, they didn't ask her of her NYSC certificate. They just told her, bow and go. This is another act of impunity.
But funny enough, that case has nothing was actually done about that alarm raised by Muriwa, because they were the ones that brought up this particular issue. Yes,
human rights.
Yes, Human Rights Writers Association. They were the ones that actually brought this issue up, and as we speak now, nothing was actually done about it. Is that actually, if just according to what you said, from the Constitution, a 7 core member is not supposed to hold any federal. Why is it that nothing?
Madibo versus Osman 2019 Supreme Court judgment. This woman, when she finished her university, was mobilized to Ebonyi State. She went to Ebonyi and relocated to Kaduna. Then Kaduna abandoned it. Understand it? For no reason at all. For no reason at all. This information is in the public domain for those who care to read. So it is only those who don't read, who don't do research, that they can deceive. So then our MBA can go to court on this, because there's already a judgment against it. But when people begin to compromise, that's why some people are saying there's nothing wrong with it. No. NYSC Act is against it. Supreme Court has a judgment against being a core member and at the same time holding public position. Then, in continuation of the impunity, you saw what Asade Dokobo did a few weeks back. A militant, somebody who has carried arms against the Nigerian state, who has shoot the military, because once you shoot any security officer, it is a crime against the nation, not against the family of that person.
Of course.
You are declaring war on the nation once you carry arms against soldiers. This guy has done it. How was he compensated? He was brought to Aso Rock, celebrated, and he now went to our media house in Aso Rock, Nigeria Sister Power, sit behind with the coat of arms, Nigeria coat of arms behind him, and he addressed Nigerians in a press conference. He addressed Nigerians in Aso Rock with Nigeria coat of arms behind him. Somebody who has carried arms against the nation, and that's why he has that the effrontery, the gut to be telling us that it is his own military that has made the Kaduna Abuja road safe. His own military, not Nigerian security, but his own military, which means his own military is now superior to that of Nigeria. That is the impunity we are talking about. That's why I say we are in the era of impunity. Now check the Chicago University shutdown. For the first time in the history of the world, not Nigeria, not Africa, for the first time in the history of the world, a university became incommunicado. They shut down their Twitter, their LinkedIn, their Facebook, and remain incommunicado. Because why? Nigeria besieged it to know about whether their president graduated from there or not. For the first time, nowhere had that thing happened. So all eyes were on Nigeria and the Chicago State University. And if you know what must have gone wrong within that time, even if it's 1 hour, all the people across the world that want to get information from Chicago State University were unable to do that. This thing has entered history. This thing has entered history. It cannot be wiped out again. Understand? So that's why I say that this is an era of impunity.
Okay, Peter Nosike, now let's look at this particular story. On Wednesday, that was the 30th of this month, of last month, August, we woke up to a news
3 days ago.
Yes, woke up to a news that the military in Gabon, they took, or they rather overthrew the democratically elected president, that is Ali Bongo, because he won his 3rd term in office after the election. So the military, a kind of military coup, and they took over power from him. Now, in reacting to that event or that particular incident, the president of Rwanda, that's Paul Kagame, came up with maybe, let me call it precautive measure by retiring 12 generals and of course other 80 about 8 something military personnel, and of course his Cameroon counterpart, that's Paul Biya. Yeah, he also went ahead to reshuffle the defense ministry. Now, this, I feel they did it out of fear, maybe feeling that something like that might come up to them, a kind of will I call it damage control or taking precautive measures. What's your take on this particular incident?
Well,
starting from what happened in Gabon.
You said that he democratically elected president.
There was an election and he won the election. So,
but the military did not agree.
That is it. That is a coup.
Understand?
Coming up with that, that means they didn't agree with it.
Okay. Now, Gabon become independent in 1960.
Yep.
The first president died in 1967. Then Omar Bongo become their president, and rule for how many years?
42 years.
42 years. And his son take over. Understand me? And this is democracy. Eh?
Well, there was an election which he won.
Okay. Yes. So now that democracy has its tenets. That's what qualifies as a democracy. As somebody say, if it's not Panadol, it cannot be Panadol. So democracy has its own tenets. One of them is choice, freedom of choice. That's democracy. There must be this freedom of choice. The will of the people must prevail. The will of the people must prevail. If the will of the people does not prevail, it is not democracy. So one of the tenets of democracy is freedom of choice. And for the will of the people to prevail, four things must show. One, the election must be credible, it must be fair, it must be free, and it must be acceptable. The people, for democracy, for anything to qualify as democracy, the election must be free, no rigging. It must be fair, no use of thuggery. It must be credible, free, fair, and credible. If the election is not free, fair, and credible, it's not democracy. So this will tell you that most of the things that is happening in Africa that we are calling democracy is not democracy. Any election that is not free, fair, and credible is never democracy. If it's not Panadol, it can never be Panadol. Number two, democracy speaks of periodic elections. Periodic elections. You cannot stay for 40 years in office and tell me that it is democracy. You cannot stay 40 years in office and say that it is democracy. No, there must be periodic elections. So for Andy Bongo to succeed his father, and you call it democracy, not a monarchy, it's a shock. So for me, I don't believe that Gabon is running a democratic government. That is number one. Then number two, another name for democracy is development. Another name for democracy is development. You are running a democracy and there's no development, it's not democracy. Go to Gabon. Over 40% of Gabon are wild. That's where people are now going for wild animals. Gabon is where people are now going for wild animals, because even though they are number 4 in oil, Gabon remains undeveloped. So when you are running democracy and there's no development, it's never democracy. If it's not Panadol, it cannot be Panadol. So those people that are reshuffling, they are just wasting their time. Once people are not happy with your administration, they will revolt. So what they should be doing, if they are running democracy, is to make the people to be getting that dividends of the democracy. That is the answer, not retiring people. So what they are doing is just wasting time. And tomorrow, if a poor beer is pushed out, and ECOWAS will start, I'll call that madness, because you cannot be running democracy and you be in office for 41 years. Paul Biya has been there for 41 years. You call that...
and he's 90 years of age.
And he's 90 years of age. Senility must have crept in. Understand me? Then Paul Kagame has been there for 23 years. And you call that democracy. So what they are doing to me, what ECOWAS, what AU should be concerned about, is to be telling those presidents to be catering for their people. Democracy, good governance. What makes good governance? According to Jerry Bentham, a British philosopher, he said every government should pursue the happiness of the greater number of people. The happiness of the greater number of people. Any government that is not doing this, understand, cannot call itself government. Your focus should be on the happiness of the greater number of people. Now, imagine what Tinubu did in Nigeria. Approve 8,000 naira per family of 12 million people. Now approved, is it 70 billion?
For the Senate.
For those in the National Assembly. 70 billion. And that's 223 million naira for each of them. We have 109 people in the Senate. Then about 360 something in the National Assembly. That's in the House of Representatives. He approved 70 billion for them, 40 billion for their SUVs and the bulletproof cars. Now approved the 8,000 for households, not even individuals, but households, father, mother, maybe 4 or 5 children, 8,000 naira per month. And what does Jerry Bentham said? That governance is for the happiness of the greater number of people in the society.
You see, this thing, this whole Rwanda and Cameroon issue, it actually leaves me wondering, why is it that some of these our leaders, especially African leaders, because when something like this happen, you know, a coup here and there, Mali had their own, Burkina Faso did, and of course Niger just did theirs a few weeks ago, and now it's Gabon. Now, my question now is, why can't they now, as this thing has happened? I know the reason why they did this reshuffling is to prevent possible coup, from taking place in their own countries. Now my question now is, why is it that they prefer to take this kind of measure of stepping down or reshuffling the defense ministry instead of looking into the reason, whatever thing that, because for this military, yes, we are not supporting coup, we are not advocating coup, but for them to come up, to do this, there must be something that, because if you watch what the two coup we just experienced in these past few weeks, that of Niger and that of Gabon, you find out that the citizens, they kind of welcomed the development. They were rejoicing over it. Imagine where the citizens are rejoicing over military takeover than democracy. That should be what we should all,
because
why is it so?
What are being practiced in those countries are not democracy. I've told you what makes up democracy: free, fair, and credible election. Free, fair, credible election. That is freedom of choice. The vote of the people must count. Vote of the people must count. The election must be free. It must be fair. It must be credible. You don't use the security to intimidate voters. You don't rig election. You don't do thuggery. Those things does not qualify for democracy. Once the election is not free, fair, and credible, it is not democracy. Once there's no development, it is not democracy. Democracy does not mean just wearing a border or wearing a suit or safari. If that is the definition of democracy, wearing suit, Putin of Russia wears suit, then he's a Democrat.
Okay, now let's leave that story now. Let's talk about Miyetti Allah unveiling security outfits. Okay, and not just that they unveiled the security outfits, maybe let's say to protect themselves. They also went to further to write to the IGP, telling him to take proactive measures to protect the Fulani pastoralists, and of course most of the governors, they actually they are trying to move against this whole anti-grazing laws. So they are warning, or rather writing to the IGP to take proactive measures to ensure that such moves are not permitted. So what do you have to say about this move by Miyetti Allah Sociocultural Group?
Miyetti Allah raising their own security outfit is also part of the impunity in the country.
I mean, to protect themselves.
Which means farmers should also raise their own security outfit. That to protect them, isn't it? Then the people at Anaba, at Aspanda, should also raise their own security outfit. The cocoa farmers in Ondo should also raise their own security outfit. Then when they begin to raise their own security, what do we have? We have Somalia in Nigeria. So if it's not impunity, they should call the IGP to protect their members. They should call the IGP. You cannot raise a security outfit inside a country where there's security, where we have all the apparatus of the military functioning.
But what if the military, or rather the security outfits you just mentioned, are not, then they are not feeling their impact within their region?
Okay.
What should they do?
Excuse me. What do you think will happen if farmers raise the security outfit? What do you think will happen if traders raise security outfit? Because the herdsmen is just an enterprise, like those selling cocoa, understand me, sending okrika, which means everybody will start raising their own security outfit. And since then, IGP had not reacted to that, and they say that silence means what? Acquaintance.
What if they are just ignoring them?
Ignoring them. The people that held the national conference issued a communique, copy to IG. So as this is an era of impunity in the country.
Okay, now let's look at this. In 25th of February this year, we had a general election. We had both the governorship election that came earlier before then, and then we had the presidential election. And these two elections, before these elections were conducted, INEC came out, to promise Nigerians. They stated it categorically that they are going to, transmit the election results from the polling units, and they're going to do so electronically. We are using the BVAS and the IREF portal, everything they promised us, and to the point of the INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu going to Chatham House to make that declaration, to make that particular promise, assuring Nigerians that everything is going to be in place and they're going to transmit all these results electronically as they promised. Now, during the said elections, both the governorship election and of course the presidential and House of the National Assembly elections, we all saw what happened. What was promised and what was seen during the election, they were two different things. We saw a lot of irregularities, a lot of complaints here and there, and the whole IREF BVAS system and the promise of using the both of them, we saw a whole lot of controversies. Now, in November 11th this year, Kogi State, they are going to be conducting their governorship election. And this same INEC has come out again to tell citizens of Kogi State that this their governorship election coming up, that the result will be transmitted from the polling unit. Another promise coming out from INEC. What exactly are we expecting from Kogi State? Are we expecting INEC that promised us the previous election, giving us almost something almost entirely different from what they promised? Or are we expecting a changed or different INEC in the case of Kogi State? Because we still have other states that will be conducting their elections coming soon, Imo State, Bayelsa State, and so what exactly are we expecting from INEC? This particular promise coming from INEC, what's your take on it?
Well, for me, you are saying that the promise. It's not even the issue of promise. The Electoral Act was signed into law,
which is still part of it.
Understand me? So it's not even a promise. It is an obligation. It is an obligation. This is what they are supposed. This is what the law say that you should do. It's different from promise. It is obligated on INEC to transmit the result, and that's what the Electoral Act said.
And they still came out to say it with themselves. They still pronounced it. I'm actually looking at the fact that they just made that same pronouncement to the citizens of Kogi State.
Well, the issue is this: maybe the INEC, the resident commissioner in Kogi, did not consult well before making that statement, or he's trying to a kind of a shift from his boss Mahmoud, who has gone into hiding after deceiving the people.
Is he really hiding?
He's hiding because most of the events that he's expected to attend, he doesn't show up. Most of the events since the declaration of that result, how many times have you seen him in public? How many times? So he is hiding because he knew that he deceived the people. He knew that he deceived the world. Not only the things that he talks here that is on record, he also went to UK and repeated the same thing. So he knows for now that he has no integrity. He knows that he has no integrity. So this man, the Kogi resident and commissioner, maybe want to differ from his boss. But as I said, maybe he did not consult very well before making that statement. And I want to assure you that before that 11th of November, they will give excuses why they will not fulfill that. Because why? Yahya Bello performed woefully. Yahya Bello was a disappointment. Yahya Bello failed the youth. Understand? When they are saying that the power should be given to the youth, Yahya Bello was supposed to be a test case because he did this 6334. Understand me? I didn't do 6334. I did class 5. But Yahya Bello did a 6334. With this, you can know his age. And when power was given to him as a kind of let us see what the youths would do in office, he messed up. I was watching what they were doing when he was contesting for second term. They were using a helicopter and pouring hot water on people to scatter them. And that was how he emerged That's how he won his second term. Tomorrow, somebody will say that Yaya Bello is a Democrat, or that they are running democracy in Kogi State. When you use hot water to chase voters away. So, if he has consulted with the incumbent governor, he would not have made that statement, because Kogi people are not stupid. Kogi people will not want a repeat of what happened to them in the last 8 years. Yahaya Bello has brought his stooge to take over from him. Kogi people will not go for him. That is a fact. They want to look for an alternative. And if they transmit that result from the polling units, APC can never win in Kogi. So they must try to give excuse why they cannot do that. An instance, the resident commissioner, INEC resident commissioner in Imo State cannot say that thing.
All right.
Do you understand me?
Yes, I get.
The resident electoral commissioner in Imo State cannot promise of transmitting results from the polling unit, because he knows that if he does it, Ozodoma will not get up to 20% of the votes. So they must look for ways to manipulate. I'm sure, watch it, before that election, the INEC commissioner will do a recount.
Okay. All right. Now let's move quickly to the next story, so that we can also have give our listeners some time to call and of course react, give their submissions on some of these topics. Now, our city boy has brought extreme hardship to Nigerians. This is Bishop Adeoye, knocking the president Bola Tinubu, saying our city boy has is this true? Has he actually brought hardship to Nigerians, or is he just no?
Are you enjoying? Are you enjoying this administration?
Well,
what Adeoye said is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Let's hear you.
One, how much is our national minimum wage? They say 30,000 naira. A lot of the states are not even paying that 30,000 naira. How much is a bag of rice? Bag of rice is not less than 40,000 naira, which means your minimum wage cannot buy a bag of rice. Then, how much is fuel going at this point in time? How much is cost of transportation? Many families cannot drink tea again, because bread had become unaffordable. Bread that I was buying about 300 naira 5 months ago, today is now about 950. So most Nigerians, even the rich, are suffering currently in the country. Before 5 months ago, how much does people use to fill their fuel tank? How much are they using to fill it now? How much is a pint of Gary 3 months ago? How much is it now? So Nigeria has left purgatory, where Buhari kept us, to the main hell. So even I can say that is even an understatement. He has brought untold hardship, and the truth is there's no even end in sight. There's no end in sight, because personally I have not seen any concrete moves he is making to change this situation. All we are hearing is just talk. Until we become a producing economy, Nigeria will continue to suffer. until we become a producing economy, until he begins to address the issues of our business environment, until he stop borrowing and we start producing, Nigeria will continue to suffer. So what Bishop Adoye said is the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It is only a sycophant, an idiot, that can go against that statement.
Okay, we'll move quickly. Now let's come down to this. What the National Bureau of Statistics, what they I think they released this like two days ago, right, or 3 days ago.
That should be on Thursday.
Now,
yes.
they say that Nigeria's unemployment rate, they brought it down, or they put Nigeria's unemployment rate at 4.1% in the first quarter of 2023. What's your take?
It's crazy. It's madness. It's sycophancy of the highest order. Because about not up to 5 months ago, a report was released that Nigeria's unemployment rate is 33.3%, the highest in the world. That Nigeria's unemployment rate was 33.3%, the highest in the world, followed by South Africa with 32 point something. Understand me? So then that should be about 34 months ago. Then what magic, what miracle has brought it from that the worst, the highest in the world, to the best in the world within just 2 months? Because 4.2 or 4.1 is the unemployment rate of developed countries. America has a 3.4 unemployment rate. Britain has 4.2 unemployment rate. Then our own is 4.1. Which means we are now more employed than the people in Britain. That is crazy. That is sycophants. Because since the removal of subsidy, even before the removal of subsidy, companies have been closing down in Nigeria. But it became amplified when the subsidy was removed. Even companies begin to sack their staffs. Even those that are having 3-4 workers begin to reduce them. Even filling stations begin to sack their staff because they are no more making sales. Then how did we now get 4.1 unemployment rate? For me, we cannot even call this one of the wonders that's of our time, because it's more than a wonder. But when I saw this, the first thing I did was I just went to my phone, Google, who is the head of National Bureau of Statistics, and the one Adeyemi Adeninro emerged. I said, okay, this is what is happening. They are now using ethnicity on National Bureau of Statistics. A Yoruba man is now the head of MBS, and the Yoruba man is the president. He now wants to show the world that his big uncle is doing something. The same National Bureau of Statistics last year made a definition that 63% or 133 million Nigerians are living in abject poverty. That 63% or 133 million Nigerians are living in abject poverty. No, are living in multidimensional poverty. But around June this year, World Bank released a report that 70 million Nigerians are living in abject poverty. World Bank. Then all these people, how manage? Where have they been? As I said the other time, apart from an increase in the number of aboros on Lagos Road, there's no other company has employed even a single person. Apart from the increase of aboros on Lagos Road, that is where I have noticed an increase in number of people on the number of aboro on Lagos Road. So telling me today, I can tell you authoritatively that our unemployment rate is above 55%. I can tell you that our unemployment rate is above 55%. So that thing he did there is deceiving himself and also deceiving the man who he thought that he's trying to help. He is deceiving himself and deceiving the man who he even think that he's trying to help. And that was what they were doing with Buhari, and that's why Buhari said that that Nigerians are now happier with him than under Goodluck Jonathan, because those people around them give them fake information. They just tell them what they want to hear, and that's what this man want to politicize our MBS. What used to be our only source of data, they have now introduced politics into it. In America, there are feds, that Federal Reserve Board, and they call it American. That's their statistics. That's in charge of unemployment rate. Politics doesn't enter there. Whatever figure you see there is real. The president of America cannot control the man in their federal reserve. It's unlike our central bank, who is under the beck and call of the president, and because of that they can do everything just to make the president happy. So that's what the Adeyemi Adeniro, the head of National Bureau of Statistics, did, just to show that Tinubu is doing something. But the truth is that nothing substantial is happening in Nigeria. I'm not against Tinubu. When he begins to put things right, I will praise him, but for now, everything is superficial. There's nothing substantial that is going on in this country at this present.
All right, this is still Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, and of course, the program is a recap where we're bringing you a summary of major events that happened within the week. My name is Doziono, and of course, I have Peter Nosike with me in the studio, who is giving us a detailed analysis of these top stories that we are giving out to you. Now, it is time for you to call us and, of course, make your contributions. If you have any reaction to any of the stories we've given to you, you can call us on 0700 903 903 903, or you can send us a message on WhatsApp, or call us via WhatsApp on 0700 903 9039, or you can go to YouTube, and of course youtube.com/Voice of the People 90.3 FM, and drop your comment. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yes, I miss you. My name is Engineer Friday.
I didn't get your name.
Yes, my name is Engineer Friday from Barika.
Oh, Friday from Barega. Please go ahead. Please turn down the volume on your radio, please.
Okay, I will turn down the volume on radio.
All right, go ahead.
You see, what is Because if you dey look the way the country dey go on, the same those people na dem say nothing that is possible in 2014. If you talk about in Nigeria have employment, people like us, how many people are to work in the year in any project? People like us, how many people? Where they give structure? Where our education system? We not talk about health. We not talk about okay now. Look the way people are good. Feel free everywhere. So when they talk about it is improved, we are growing. We are not going anywhere. Nothing common you. That man that write that thing, you like only in family. He is not for Nigeria. It's for your own family. Because your family is good. You collect money from President Churumbu and make that kind of comment. You don't make that comment for Nigeria. That is my own.
Thank you.
You tell them to change, put it in the right way. The way they use the country, if they not, everybody go answer in Papa name.
Thank you so much, Friday. Thank you. All right, 0700 903 903 903 for your calls, and of course 0700 903 903 for your WhatsApp messages and WhatsApp calls. We brought you different stories now. Let me take this call, then I can take you through the topics that we came up with this evening. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location?
The only voice for the old man, the only voice for the people, the only voice where we just express our pain, our feelings. I am Mr. Francis from Satellite Town.
Oh, Mr. Francis from Satellite Town. Good evening. How are you doing?
I thank God. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you. Happy New Month to you. Please go ahead.
This is not the democracy we fight for. Yeah, we fight. They said soldiers should go back to barracks. We don't want them any longer. Now, the democracy. How many years that we are not democracy? Look at our sons and daughters suffering. Look at people like us who cannot see, blind people like us. No way to nobody wants to employ for work. When they announce budget now, they don't announce budget for disability. People living with disability. And we line up on the song. Vote for these people for God's sake. I would not create by image of God like them. Tell me, these people that are traveling all over the world, they see how every year there's no best back. Our education is collapsed, our education system collapsed. There's no look how can we survive? So what are we talking about? Let us start with first. This is not democracy we fight. This is not democracy. I hope our leader, I hope they are listening to us, hearing our cry. You are people like us people to eat from morning to night. People cannot feel, cannot feed themselves. A lot of family, a lot of children are dropped from the school. For God's sake, these men, they went to school, free education. Before they start teaching what they are brother. This democracy is very expensive. What they have to spend the heart of them, what are they doing here? For God's sake. So please, this is 100 days now in the office. 100 days now, what can we 100 out? There, and agony.
Thank you.
This is not democracy to fight for.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I am angry, very, very angry. In fact, I'm very angry. We see people tomorrow going to terminal and going to do something life. This politician push us to be our regional leaders, our traditional rulers. Lord have mercy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Come and defend them all. Nobody let us call it because of our unborn children. We're almost to 60 now. Suffering. We cannot feed ourselves. We look at people like who cannot see.
All right.
Very nice.
Thank you. Do have a beautiful evening there. Okay, 0700 903 903 903 for your calls, and 0700 903 903 9 for your WhatsApp messages, and of course a WhatsApp call if you're calling us maybe away from Nigeria. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location?
My name is Chris, calling from Ajo Estate.
Chris from Ajo Estate, please go ahead.
Yes, the man that is talking with you is very, very correct. Because in democracy, everything's supposed to be open. Whereby they are using talks is no longer a democracy. Meanwhile, the cattle rank people that are demanding for their security, and up to now the IGP and the people in power do not say anything. But I remember a man, one chief at Azure State, that used such comments that if the government cannot guide their people, they will bring their own security. They police that man to today and kept him in Kirikiri. Nothing was done about it. So you say that we are not practicing democracy in Nigeria. Yes, the man makes such statements, but the Hausas with other people are saying we need our own security. They bring out their own people. Nobody arrest them. Nobody police them. But the man say if these people are not ready to guide us well, we bring our own security. They took the man and put him in Kirikiri tomorrow. Okay, in things that are happening in this country, I'm not against anybody being the president of Nigeria. What I want is let there be transparency, let there be rule of laws. I remember our president said that he believes in rule of laws. Yes, that is a nice statement. But can you that make that statement, can you abide to it? Like if in my house I put law and I defend the law, it doesn't make me a good man. You understand me? So the person that is in the studio has said everything the way it's supposed to be. How can you do in a polling unit, you use a cutter to pour people hot water? Then they will say you are the winner, and the press will be there. Some security
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, please just round up so that we can take other calls.
So what I'm saying in effect is that this country are not ready for democracy, but I'm not praying for coup. But eventually anything happen, that is the will of Almighty. Because we only know the truth and let's believe in the truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, 0700 903 903 903 for your call, 0700 903 9039 for your WhatsApp messages. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Thank you very much for picking my call. My name is Remy Abati. I'm calling from UK.
Remy Abati from UK. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You see, when I saw the star presented by MBS, I was super furious in the sense that there's nowhere in the world run by human being that is statistics that is stack will fall from 34 to 4 points whatever. It doesn't happen anywhere. I'm a researcher, okay? And I understand the fact that when you apply a particular methodology to an advanced society, applying that methodology to underdeveloped society would be the most stupidest thing to do. Now, these people told us that they are following new international standards. Does it make sense to you? If it makes sense to a army of ignorance, it does not make sense to clever people. Now, I want to also add to the fact that when you look at this tax, it does not reflect the reality of the people on the street. Secondly, sir, the people, they've gone to India now on the invitation of Narendra Modi, and they are playing around the idea of Nigeria applying to join G20. Does that sound sensible to you? Are you not aware that 2 weeks ago, India launched, went to space, and just last week, another trip to space? They no born Nigeria well to go to space in the next 20 years. Why are you chasing shadow? Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Remy, for calling. Hello, good evening.
Hello, my name is James Ezekiel, calling from Jakonde.
Your name is what?
My name is James Ezekiel, calling from Jakonde.
Okay, James, please go ahead.
Actually, I've been hearing the programs and what your guest was saying about our president. You know, all these things that have been happening in our country. I just believe that Nigeria will not get to a stage where we will not get it anymore, because I was hearing about the percentage of Nigeria dropping from 34 to 4.1 in terms of unemployment. And you see all these people giving the president wrong information without him even making a look to know if all this information are right or not. But the thing there is, I pray that if they did not do something to what is happening in Nigeria, our case will not be like the case of what is happening in Niger currently now, and Congo and Gabon, because these are how it's going to start. So I believe with what is happening, our government should be able to sit down and recount what the promises they have made before you become a president. Our government should be able to know the right thing to do, because if it goes out of hand, it's not going to be a funny situation. And I pray that it does not go out of hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Now we have some messages here on WhatsApp. This is coming from Wabweze. He said, good evening. What we practice in Africa is never democracy, where people can express their mind. People accept military coup as a result of failure of civilian rule. That is coming from Wabweze. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location?
My name is Vitalis. I'm calling from Ejibo.
Vitalis from Ejibo. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, guest.
Good evening.
I am of the opinion that you are just hitting the nail directly on the head. You are analyzing this issue properly the way it's supposed to be analyzed. You are not leaving any stone unturned. I appreciate you, and I agree with you 100%. I want to ask this question. As a man in your own house, if things is not going the way you want, do we make sacrifices to make sure that things work properly? If the answer is yes, then I will now ask this question.
Yeah, I'm with you.
These people that are ruling us, Nigerians, we have everything going down, and you are giving these wrong statistics politically, because it's not based on reality. If it is based on reality, my brother will say yes. Who is employing who? Where is the factories? Where is the new factories that is coming up, that is employing people, that is giving us these statistics that they are giving out? Look, this was the shadow that we were chasing when Buhari was leading this country. We have started again. Proper analysis, proper investigation is never done. Okay? Rule of law. Why is Nnamdi Kanu still in prison? A court of law ordered that man should be released, and he is still there. What law is holding him? We are in this country, we don't even obey any law, especially Jose Light. Akpabio is having a case. They made him Senate president. Ganduje is having a case. He was made the chairman of APC. Where are we heading to? Who is fooling who? My brother, we should tell ourselves the truth. The people that are ruling us are not Nigerians. They are evil. I will tell you.
Okay.
Let them come and arrest me.
Please, we can't. We can't take that. All our leaders are citizens of the country. They are citizens of Nigeria. You can't come here on national radio and say that our leaders are not Nigerian citizens. No, we cannot take that. Please, when you call us, you have to be civil with your comments so that you don't incite any form of violence, or maybe make derogatory statement or something that is capable of causing problems for us. Thank you so much for those calling. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening to you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my brother. My name is Solomon.
Solomon, where is your location, Solomon?
I come from Isheri.
Solomon from Isheri, please go ahead.
Yeah, my contribution of this hearing, because this our president, everybody know how the man used to enter the office. For me, I didn't believe there's a good thing coming through out of the president, because I know how he used to enter the office. See, like now, people are clamoring about removal of subsidy. What of the removal of subsidy of cuisine? Where the money going? What of the removal of diesel, aviation? Where of the money going? Now, removal of our PMS. That's the little one massive benefit. So this is now. People will know that this government is everything is a politics for them. They are using Nigeria as a political statement in anything they are doing. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. We have this message here on WhatsApp. Good evening, everyone. This regime, is that okay? Oh, I can't really get what you're saying here. I don't think I will be able to read that message. All right, 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Please turn down the volume on your radio if you want us to have a smooth conversation.
I do that.
Oh, please, I can't take that. 0700 903 903 903. When you call us, once the lines go through, please do well to turn down the volume on your radio. Okay, we have this message. It says the Western countries want Tinubu to be Nigerian president so that they can continue to milk from us, which simply implies they do everything possible to protect his presidency. I'm sure they'd be laughing at us with the NBS statistical data on unemployment rate in Nigeria. This is Nose Paul from Agoda Surulere. Paul, we've really been talking about a lot of Paul in our stories today. Paul from Rwanda, and of course Paul from Cameroon. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location?
My name is Ijeoma. I'm calling from Sango.
Okay, please. You have 1 minute to talk to us.
I'm looking at that statistics, that unemployment and statistics. That man is deceiving himself and his master. Everybody in Nigeria with common sense know that the removal of first subsidy, that the percentage of unemployment increases because many companies cannot afford the expenses of fuel and energy.
Okay, thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
He deceiving himself and the master, not Nigerians. We know the statistics with common sense. So that we're looking at it, we know that unemployment increases. Even the lowest cities in Nigeria know that unemployment has increased.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Peter Nosike, I want to bring this to you now. Concerning what MBS, the statistics they released. Now we are talking about from 33.3% or 33 point something, percent down to 4.1%. Which, if you look at it, it doesn't really look like it's okay. It's actually obtainable. Now look at the situation of the country. Look at the way the whole thing. We know the number. Personally, I know a lot of companies that have they've laid off a lot of staff. Most people are losing their job. We are not talking about people who are getting employed. We are talking about a lot of employed ones who have actually lost their job due to the difficulties and the whole price hike and everything. Even company owners are finding it difficult to make profit. It's something that is very, very visible to the blind. Everybody can see that. Now, what I'm trying to say is, releasing this kind of statistics, is this a kind of taking the citizens of Nigeria for granted, or is it, what exactly can we call this? Because if what we are seeing, this is something that we all can see, that a lot of people, a lot of employed ones are losing their job. People are getting unemployed on daily basis, adding to the number of unemployed people. So they are telling us that all of a sudden, all these whole people who lost their job are comfortably, gainfully employed, and those of them who maybe have not had any job so far, we are seeing. You look at this pharmaceutical company that just left the country, GSK, and so many of them that are even going towards that line. The other day, someone called us, he mentioned the company where his brother worked. He compared the number of the turnover previously and what it is now. This is something that is happening, and we all are seeing it. What exactly can we term this kind of development?
That's Chivita.
Yes, that was the
Chivita. So the issue is, this can only happen in Nigeria. This can only happen, it is only in Nigeria that somebody can just in a broad daylight want to use Nigerians to buy favor. He wants the president to notice him. He wants the president to see that he is supporting him by deceiving both the president himself and the masses. I'm telling you, from that 33.3, unemployment rate has gone to 55%. Since the removal of subsidy, people have been laying out their stuff. Fuel is unaffordable, gas is unaffordable, diesel is unaffordable.
A lot of companies and are running out of business.
Energy, some companies are paying more than 15 million naira as electricity bill every month, and they don't even get up to 12 hours of 12 days in a month. So for me, if it's in an advanced country, they will have removed that man within 24 hours. They will have removed that man within 24 hours. But here in Nigeria, as I say, we are in an era of impunity. You do what is not good and you get away with it.
Okay, good evening to you. Hello, good evening. Oh, we lost that. 0700 903 903 903. I think we have a few minutes to round up the program. Maybe we should just take one or two calls and then we call it a day for today. 0700 903 903 903. Maybe one more call. Okay, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location?
This is Ezala from Okoko.
Ezala from Okoko. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm equally fully in support of the speaker. You see, what is happening in this country is an eyesore. You see, people will be complaining. Government will see as the poverty are suffering and they see block their ears. They don't even know what to do. Is it good? The moving 12 subsidy. People were suffering, no movement, people cannot move anywhere. As we previously said, companies are folding up because of fuel and the economic deficiency in Nigeria. What are we talking about? Why do these people don't have brain or sense to know that the poor masses out there are suffering? Please, we're supposed to let them know, even to write them on their desk completely. Let them know that people are suffering. We are suffering here. People doesn't eat even 2 square meals a day now. As they are saying they are ruling us. People, poor masses are in the streets. It's not good. They are not ruling us well. Let them come out and do the needful. Please, my brother, if you start talking this thing, they will break. I'm okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have this message. Is the NBA in bed with politicians? Can the politicians corrupt NBA? Those are the questions, cause at this point no trust is left. All right, that is what the size of our package for tonight. Mr. Nosike, what's your parting word?
Well, our program will be coming back again on Saturday, 4 to 6. So we're going back to our normal Saturdays program between 4 to 6. Yeah.
Of course, the recap always come your airways every Saturday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you so much for being part of this program. Coming up next is Chika Iro with the program Owambede. Please do well to stay with us on Voice of the People 90.3 FM, where we'll give you a voice. Thank you so much and have a beautiful Sunday evening. Good evening.